Hey fellow YouTubers, my name is Eugene and welcome to our channel Fusion Source. Behind the camera is Jason and he'll be filming this for me today. Join us in reviewing this Ender 3. This is not the Pro version, this is the standard version. I bought this printer with my own money and no money has changed hands for this review. I will try to give you my honest opinion. The Ender 3 has a bed print area of 220 by 220 by 250. It is a heated bed that can go up to about 130 degrees Celsius. It has a Bowden style extruder and the hot end temperature can get to about 260 degrees Celsius. Although I wouldn't suggest that with the standard Bowden tube setup, rather go for a Capricorn to get those kind of temperatures. It has an all aluminum extruded body. The plastic parts are all injection molded. There's no 3D printed parts on the standard machine and there are sheet metal throughout. The motherboard, yeah, I'll talk about that later, not great. You can get the Ender 3 from the Creality website. Currently they're having a special for just under $200, $199.99, and Banggood is about the same price. In South Africa, I bought my printer from DIY Electronics in Durban for around 4,000 Rand. The assembly, gosh, this thing was fun to put together. I really enjoyed putting it together. Unfortunately, I don't have an unboxing video for you, but I assembled this in about 40 minutes. It was good fun. The whole printer is open source and worked perfectly straight out the box. All my V slot rollers were correctly aligned and I was able to print within minutes of getting the printer together. My upgrades, oh gosh, this is one of the things that's so great about an Ender. It's an open source printer. There's tons of upgrades. So I've done a few myself. The best and most important upgrade on this printer is your Bowden tube. Put a Capricorn tube. Spend the money, go buy a Capricorn tube. I think it's around $20, $25 for the Capricorn tube. Best decision I've made. It helped me with TPE, which I'll talk about soon. I printed a cable chain to manage all the cables. I haven't quite finished doing this one yet. Okay, and a fan box. The Ender 3 did a bit of a silly decision putting the fan on the top of the box here. What happens is bits and pieces of filament fall down into there. So that's one of the early prints that you must do. You must print a fan cover. Now I moved the extruder. This was an interesting decision. My extruder sat on the Z-axis for quite a while and it caused problems. Loading it was always difficult. The cable chain got in the way. The lead screw got in the way. So it was really difficult to load. If I ever did a filament change mid-print, which I do quite often, color changes, you'd push down, see what happens. The Z-axis goes out of alignment, your printer's ruined. Forget about resetting from that point on. So I made the decision to move my extruder to the top here. I printed out this 3D part for the extruder at the top, and I mounted it up top here. Best decision I made. It is great. It works perfectly out there. Loading your filament is so easy. It is just awesome. Okay. I also switched out the plastic extruder body for an all metal extruder. The plastic tended to get worn at the top here, so putting the all metal extruder in also worked out perfectly for me. I also wanted to print polycarbonate and ABS, and polycarbonate is a rather high temperature material. Still haven't had great success in it, but anyway, I bought a Micro Swiss hot end. Great decision as well. What the problem with the standard hot end on the Ender is that if you do not push the Bowden tube all the way to the bottom, right up against the hot end, it tends to create a little pool of filament there, which causes jams. But the Micro Swiss have overcome this by moving the Bowden tube up, having a all metal guide path, and it works great. I haven't had many clogs in this, and really easy to unclog if it does get clogged. I also printed the Pets Fang cooler module. I don't know how much better it is than the standard Ender module, but it was good fun, looks cool, and works well. So also the glass bed. The Ender comes with this plate that you clip on. I had prints that were slipping on here all the time. For me, it wasn't great. So I threw that away and I went for glass. The glass works beautifully. You don't have to worry about putting glue on. You don't have to put tape on it. Just make sure the glass is spotlessly clean, no fingerprints, and your print will stick to that print. Also, the other thing that irritated me was loading my files onto an SD card and putting it into the front motherboard here. It's always finicky to put in here. Had to work from my computer, get up, bring it over. So I decided to install Octoprint. I'll talk about Octoprint shortly and the benefits of that. There are many. Octoprint is great, an awesome piece of software. So when we start printing, the first thing you have to do is level the bed. The Ender 3 has a manual bed leveling system. It's good, it works well, it's easy once you know how. I will be doing a quick video tip on that shortly. Look out for it this coming week. You will load your filament in. Here I've got a little turn wheel that makes my life a lot easier to load filament. So you load it onto your SD card or via Octoprint and start printing. Print quality is great. As I said before, the Capricorn tube is a great upgrade. It does help with printing. I tried to print TPE, and the furthest I got with my cell phone case in TPE and flexible material was this. Even if you look in the center of this, there's missing layers. I struggled. I could not get it right. So eventually, I got the Capricorn tube. I read up that the Capricorn tube does help with TPE, and I thought, okay, well, why not? My goodness, first print, a perfect working cell phone case for an S9. This fits snugly. Look at this. It protects the phone beautifully. I'm really impressed with this, and that was just replacing the Capricorn tube. So we also added TL smoothers. There's a lot of debate online about TL smoothers, whether they're worth it. With this motherboard, yes. It's a cheap upgrade, and they work. It really does improve the steppers, and it gets rid of salmon skinning and makes it better for a better print. Remember, you are going to have failures with this machine. With any printer you buy, you're going to have failures. So I've had my fair share of failures with this. Clean off, start again, and continue, and away you go. What are the pros with this printer? Well, the pros is very well priced. Come on, it's under $200. It's incredible. It's easy to assemble. It fits nicely on a desk. It doesn't take up a lot of desk space. It prints really well. I can print down to 0.2 millimeters quite easily, and we printed a mini Eiffel Tower that looks simply amazing. The printer is open source, and you've got to give Creality credit for that. They're one of the first Chinese companies to ever go open source. So you can make this printer yourself. Funny enough, my son Jason and myself, we did a costing to build a printer, and it turned out to be more expensive than buying one. So we aborted that idea. The accuracy is good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but for what are you expecting from a $200 printer? This is great. Dum dum dum. The cons. There's no enclosure for the ABS and polycarbonate printing. We've really struggled to print ABS and polycarbonate. We came close the other day by building a makeshift polystyrene kind of enclosure to get the temperature up. We couldn't get it to stick, but we're working on it, and I think we will get there. Manual print bed leveling, well, again, under 200 bucks, what can you expect? You can buy a BL Touch and install that to do your automatic bed leveling, but your manual bed leveling is done. It's got springs below it that are okay. I have to level the bed, say, every 10 or so prints. The big downfall of this printer, the motherboard. Oh my goodness, the motherboard is probably as cheap as they could go. There's very little memory for upgrades. The printer doesn't come with the temperature runaway protection installed in it, so it could catch fire if your sensor breaks off and it doesn't know what temperature it's at. So to enable that, you have to disable something else because there's not enough memory available. There's no bootloader on the motherboard. Again, that's quite a difficult thing to get past. You need to have some electronic skills. There are video tutorials on how to add a bootloader to an Ender. I'm currently looking at replacing the motherboard. Also, your Cura settings can take a while to tune in, but other than that, there's no more cons. Well, that's it for today. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give us a thumbs down. Please consider subscribing to our channel and post comments below of what you want to see in the future. God bless, love you guys, and see you later. Cheers.